or do it yourself. Just file. All you have to do is buy another book, and you can have the course for free. It's on the site. That's exactly, I literally handed that to my partner and said, you don't know how to write a book? Here's how you do it. And he followed it, and then we bought a bunch of books. We'll talk about that in product development, how we did it. But we didn't do any of that stuff. And we've done 50,000 in sales in the first 2 months, where it took us 2 or 3 days worth of work to get the ball rolling, and we walked away. We both have other things to do. So that's it. Now that I set this up so anyone can replicate what it is that I did, we're going to go hard and do the things that we're supposed to do. And we'll turn it into a nice living. Right now, it's not a profit center for me. But we will make it a profit center. As soon as I get through this and the TKP stuff and I have more time, we'll make it a profit center. But it's still good money. I mean, I'm not going to turn away 50K in sales. We built a list, too. I will show you the software that we used. The software that I use is very important. I've told you before, Easy ClickMate. For years, I've been telling you, you need to use Easy ClickMate if you're selling a ClickBank product, because it gives you a lot of flexibility for the JV partnerships that you set up. And that's actually here. I actually have a presentation. My partner made you guys a 40-minute long video. I'm not going to make you sit through it. We'll just give it to you for after the seminar. But I have some slides that we put together for it, too. But Easy ClickMate allows me to go to the JV partners and say, hey, we sell through ClickBank. You know you'll get paid because ClickBank pays you. But if you sign up directly with us, we'll let you send it either to our opt-in page, which is converting at 53% opt-in, or you can send it to the sales page. ClickBank only allows you to send it to one place, really, is what it happens to. So that's one of our selling points, was we let you pick where you want to send your traffic. Some people don't like to send people to the opt-in page. John Reese doesn't like to send his people to the opt-in page. He prefers the sales page. So for my coaching club, I set it up so he can send them to the sales page. Stephen Pierce likes to send people to the opt-in page. So they go to the opt-in page. Different marketers want different things. If you just do the basics of ClickBank, you can only offer them one page. It's either an opt-in page or it's a sales page. We're able to do both using Easy ClickMate, and several JV partners told me that was important to them. It's a $67 software program. So that's what we'll get in that later. But that's it. So we haven't built feeder sites. So if you went ahead and did all this stuff, if you lined up JV partners, recruited affiliates, submitted articles, press releases, blogs, forums, feeder sites, product launches, and actually mailed your list, our follow-up autoresponder has quite a few things in it. And the first part of it's stuff I wrote, and the second part's my partner wrote. Well, guess what converts? For first part. And I can help you guys with that, but I can't really teach you copywriting. Copywriting is something that you pick up, which means you have to study it. So if you want to be a good copywriter, you're going to have to study it. And I think one of the biggest weaknesses I see from all the people I try to help in the coaching club is their sales letter isn't written well, and the opt-in isn't written well. And then another problem that I run into all the time is the follow-up sequences. They're like academic textbook follow-up series. There's no pizzazz in it. There's no human in it. There's no salesmanship in it. They're like, here's my product, and basically here's a couple pages from it, and I'm not going to ask you to buy my product because I don't want to upset you and drop off my list. Well, why are you sending them an email then? If you don't want them to buy the product, why even bother selling them an email? If you send them an email, ask for the order. You don't have to put the primary focus of the email to begin with, asking for the order, but you should be asking for the order from the first day, from the first email that you send them, not to mention after the opt-in form, and we're going to talk about that too. After they opt in, you should start selling. You should sell them on the opt-in form as to why they should be buying your product, as to why they should be giving you your email, and once they get their first confirmation email, you should start saying, buy my product, and on the opt-in confirmation page, it should start saying, buy my product. You're wasting valuable space. Jeff, didn't you tell me that your thank you page for your old business, market analytics business, you put a sign-up form for a newspaper, IBD, right? Wasn't that a nice profit center for you? All it said was thank you for signing up. And
that paid my mortgage for probably 8 years every single month. Because basically what I would do, I'd have them opt into my free newsletter, and then I would pop up a thank you, and the thank you was a soft offer for a 2-week subscription to an investing newsletter, investing newspaper. And I mean, my thinking was they already have somewhat of a trust relationship built with you because they just filled in the opt-in form and they got their hands on the keyboard. They're in that mode of filling stuff out. So I pop up a form, they just fill that sucker out, and every time they filled it out, I was making $9.50. So the way the math worked is for every opt-in I got, I was making about $1.25 before I ever sent them a newsletter, an offer, or anything.
That paid your mortgage.
Yeah, every single month.
That's why I don't like using Aweber. My partner used Aweber because we were actually parsing ClickBank orders, and they can force them into Aweber. Aweber will actually parse the information from the order from ClickBank, so you don't have to get involved at all and do it. And we did that, but it didn't work out the way we wanted it to, so we're kind of using Aweber on that. I don't like Aweber because what they tell me, and I see this all the time, is when you double opt in for Aweber and it's a thank you page, all it says is thanks for joining my newsletter, and I'm told you can't actually. Does anybody know if you can put a special offer page in for thank you from Aweber? Because I use one shopping cart because I can show exactly what I want to show. But Aweber, as far as I understand it, and what I see every time a major guy sends me something to sign up for, and I get this page, all it says was, Aweber, thanks for signing up, we'll let you know. Well, that's a waste of space. I still see Aweber accounts all the time from big internet marketing guys where the thank you page is nothing but the Aweber default page. They're wasting space. Jeff paid his mortgage for 9 years just from a thank you page that says, hey, here's something to buy.
You know, one thing, yeah, you can absolutely do custom thank you pages with Aweber.
Okay.
And I'm no longer doing the thank you page strategy I talked about because I did go to all double opt-in. And so the thank you page is incredibly important for selling the the confirmation. Mm-hmm. So I've said it's not worth that $1.25 to me anymore. And now I just focus that page on nothing but getting them to go to their inbox and confirm immediately.
What Jeff is referring to is it's been estimated that approximately 20 to 25% of all people that opt in will not confirm the opt-in if you use double opt-in. Now, one shopping cart requires that you use double opt-in in order to use their whitelisted mailing servers. If you don't use double opt-in, they've got you on their generic servers, and there's some deliverability issues with those generic servers. I've always used double opt-in for a couple different reasons, one of which, from a legal standpoint, I wanted to be a little bit more protected. It reduces the number of signups, and it's actually one of my presentations, so I'm just going to give this cursory right now. But double opt-in, 20 to 25% of the people that opt in will not confirm their opt-in, which means you can't mail them anything. And in fact, we had a problem with our system where in 1 week we had 3,500 people opt in, not confirm it. But when we showed the mailing list company, said, hey, here's the percentage of people that normally opt in that don't confirm it, and here's what we're having this week. They finally admitted they had a problem with their system, and it took them about 4 months to fix. And at this point, I don't know what to do. Do I send somebody who signed up 4 months ago and think I screwed them and didn't send them what I was supposed to send them as the product that I said you get for free if you signed up? So I'm going to have to figure it out. But you have to watch that carefully. Here, if you guys don't know, I'm not going to tell you. Maybe off tape, I'll tell you guys later. But there's some things, there's some nuances in some of the shopping carts and the autoresponders that nobody talks about, that isn't documented. And I've got full-time IT people working on this stuff for me. They have found so many problems that just doesn't seem to be common knowledge that is costing people a ton of money, including myself, that we didn't know about it. The only reason I know is because my brother's my IT guy, and he's a mathematician and a programmer by trade, so he's very analytical. And he starts getting in there and saying, well, this isn't right, and this isn't right. And we found so many holes in a lot of those systems. But if you guys use a shopping cart, do yourself a favor and start to learn how it works and take a look at it. Did you guys know that if someone who's on if you have recurring billing set up in some of these systems, and someone's on your mailing list and you're a client, for some reason, if they accidentally unsubscribe themselves from your mailing list, that also stops the recurring billing? For dozens of people, we found out the hard way on that. Does that make sense? That doesn't make sense to me. They're still my client. They still want to be. They just didn't want to get that email. Because what happens a lot of times is they'll be on multiple email lists, so they try to subscribe to one. Sometimes they get unsubscribed from all of them. That's another thing that you have to watch out for. And when they do that, the recurring billing doesn't work. So what do? You find out after 3 or 4 months someone hasn't been paying. You can't really go back to them and say, oh, by the way, you owe me 4 or 5 months worth of payments. So that's one of the problems we came across. We had a lot of problems. Let's move on with this presentation. Pay-per-click. We did not run pay-per-click campaigns. We didn't run CPAs. If you guys ran CPAs, pay-per-clicks, you could make a fortune. And Frank Kern's pay-per-click. There's some interesting stuff, too, about this Google slap thing that's going on that we're going to talk about in one of my presentations. It's actually resulted in more money for me as an AdSense publisher. I set up some test sites for it. It's pretty interesting. We'll talk about that later, too. So I think the Google slap is actually good for us as marketers publishing AdSense ads. Not necessarily, it's not hard to overcome from the pay-per-click ads either. It's pretty easy. We think we've pretty much figured out how to get around it. but it actually works out better for us as people building pages to show AdSense.